changing weather day. I was thinking about trying to go to the island, but turns out all of the boats are canceled this morning. I'm guessing that wind and I have no idea if you can even hear me. Waves? I don't know if you can see that, but it's quite mighty. So I'm going to be doing some coastal walking today. Yeah, that's the plan. I'll take you along, show you the site. So this is the entrance to the Giant's Causeway. That's where I'm starting. I've gone and done the Causeway like twice before, so I don't feel the need to like go down and explore it again, but I just wanted to comment. None of this was here when I was here last in 2014. It looks so different. Like, this building was here, and that white building was here, but none of this parking structure stuff was here. This is absurd. So all this is new. It used to just be a walkway, and then you go down. The buses are also new. So it is a bit of a walk though. The first bit you can see is over there, and then you go around the corner and you see all the big ones. That's the next little town over. I didn't really want to do all that elevation up there. Here's what I'm going to be doing right here. Walking along the top and then continuing on to future little towns. I'm just going to go as far as I want, and then I'll just head to the box. No real agenda, just exploring. Check out the water. It's so like murky because it's been raining so much, so all the bogs are draining into the ocean, and it's like changing the color. Like the water by where I'm staying is brown. So the audio is terrible on this because it's so windy, but what I'm saying is these rocks down here are what is known as the Giant's Causeway. When the water's out a little bit more, you can see more of them, but they're these hexagonal rocks. And the myth is that back in the day, Finn McCool, who was an Irish giant, was having a fight with this Scottish giant, and there used to be this bridge that was made out of rocks that went back and forth between the two countries, but after the battle, the Scottish giant ripped it out, and so now they don't connect anymore. You can see there's actually more of those sorts of basalt pillar rocks into the cliffs too. It's not just in that one little patch. Oh my god, the winds are so mighty in certain places, and I feel like completely blocked in others. This is absurd. It's like you feel yourself being pushed by the wind, actually. Okay, continuing on. Almost berry season. I've been trudging my way through these brambles for like the last month now, across England and Ireland. And now they're almost producing fruit. I will not be here to see it though. I think these are the reddest ones I've seen so far. So this is the kind of day it's going to be. Look at this, beautiful blue skies. And then, as I pivot in the other direction, we have this, which is clearly misty rain. Like you can see it over there. So it's just going to be like blue sky, misty rain, blue sky, misty rain. Which is better than just pouring the entire day. It's just going to be a wild ride of equipment. Here I am. Causeway. So I'm out on this little point, and I was going to walk to the end, but then the wind picked up. And yeah, no, I'm going to stay right here on this wide part. Thank you. But you can see the stacked basalt rock that are over here. This is where those people were walking earlier, like down there. And I'm sure it looks cool from out there, but it looks safe from over here. Apparently that's the end of the line for the official Giant's Causeway. You can kind of see where the little path ends down there. It's cool. These aren't quite as articulated as the ones on the other side, which is why I think I've never walked over there before. You know, it's wild from the other direction, like down in the main part of the causeway, the Giant's Causeway, that little bit, looks like it's the end of this little bit. I just now realized that they're not the same little outcropping. That's wild. And then because there weren't any actual giants, this like basalt column thing is not just in that area. So this is all down the coast. You can see, like I said, a little less articulated than back there, but totally the same coastline. Got a bunch of cows. Oh look, sheep. Very different sheep than the ones that were on Ackle. These are like the fluffy kind, although they've clearly just been recently shorn. Apparently it's time to scratch themselves against the fence. Like one went over and started doing it, and then like 4 others joined. That's hilarious. I've come 2 or 3 miles. I'm going at least to that castle point. Then we'll see how I feel about things. I'm on this bench, it's crazy, but I'm just trying to eat my lunch here. Not view. Get down there, you can have your own little Giant's Causeway experience. It's all the little hexagonal rocks. Again, not quite as articulated as where Giant's Causeway is, but still pretty cool. And there's Rathlin Island, where I tried to go today, but it looked to me like everything was sold out, but I learned this morning that they actually canceled all the boats, probably because of this wind. And I'm sure the seas are pretty rough around there. Yeah, so I booked in tomorrow, hoping to go out there. We'll see if the boats run. Apparently this is the other end of the World Heritage Site. So there's this group of, like pretty big group of, I guess they're like the hikers, that they go like a club or something like that. Anyway, I've passed them like they're in these clumps, and like they're very unaware of people around them, which is interesting to me. Like the path's big enough so that you can, 2 people can pass, so it's not really a big deal. In certain places it's wide enough so that you can, 2 people coming this way can be walking next to each other, and 1 person can be going the other way. Maybe that's not a big deal. But they walk in these clumps of like 3 or 4 people, and like nobody moves over. They just like expect me to not exist. It's wild. So they're kind of annoying me. Yeah, that's what I got for you. I'm also looking at that. I would not go down there, but you know somebody did. Like, definitely looks like people have made their way down to that little beach down there. Okay, take that back. Not all of them are rude. I just met a group of 3 who were like, stop to chat with me. Nice as pie. Yeah, so it's all about timing when you say things, I guess. But I'm glad I had that experience. I was feeling a little annoyed, so now I don't feel as annoyed. Also, the sun decided to come out, so I'm thrilled. Oh, this like sickness thing that I'm battling, that was doing a number on my lungs. I brought some medication with me, like some antibiotics and steroids that my lung doctor prescribed. She always does this when I go traveling in the summer, just in case I get sick and I can't like easily have access to this stuff, like because I don't have somebody to prescribe it who like knows my whole history, blah blah blah. So I just take it with me. I generally know when I need it, but I message her, like medical portal, message her, and I'm like, these are the symptoms, I think I need to take this is why. And usually she's like, yes, you're right. Or she's like, do this one, but not this one. So I messaged her 2 days ago, and I was like, okay, I think I need to take the antibiotics because, not to get too graphic, but like, I think my lungs are infected. Like, I think I have some like bacteria or something. I can tell. And so she's like, cool, take those. But I said, at the time, like, I'm not having any lung issues. I'm getting normal inhalers or, managing that. So I don't want to take the steroid that you gave me. She's like, yeah, that should be fine. Don't take it if you don't need it. So my lungs are feeling better. The antibiotic was definitely the right call. It's definitely helping. But now my lungs, though, are so tired from all the coughing I've been doing that I think I need the steroid. So I think I have to message her and be like, should I take the steroid? Because I think I need to at this point. So, yeah, this getting sick thing, not fun. I think it was a mixture of being tired, being stuck out in the freezing rain, and then one of the roommates in the hostel that I stayed in, because I've stayed in a few dorm hostels this trip, she had the sniffles, and so I think the combination of all three of those things is what gave me this. Like, I think I got the actual germ from that girl, but like my body was probably pretty broken down, receptive to it. So yeah, I also have been thinking that I'm kind of done with dorm rooms and hostels. Like, they were fine 10 years ago, but at this point, like, unless there's some very, very certain, like, special circumstance, private rooms and hostels are kind of my jam, because I get my own space, not breathing the same air as anybody else when I'm sleeping, but I still have, like, common spaces that I get to meet people, and as a solo traveler, that's really important to me, is, like, having that social dimension. So we'll see. I'm currently staying technically in a hostel, but it's a private room. But it doesn't feel like a hostel. It feels more like a guest house, because you don't really see anybody else. So yeah, we'll see if that changes. Well, and here's the coastline coming away from the Causeway. So it kind of wiggles its way there. And then that is, I think it's called White Park Bay Beach. A bunch of words put together. But that one's kind of tricky because you either have to go up and do a road walk, or you have to walk across the sand, and neither one of those are appealing to me. And then there's a little bit of walk, and then you walk by the Carrick Bridge, and then after that there's more coast, and that drops you down into Ballintoy, and I think that might be where I finish, unless I decide to skip the beach part. This is kind of giving me ideas around maybe doing this path in its entirety. Not this trip, because I'm not going to be here long enough, but some other time. It's just going to be so weather dependent though, and weather is way more finicky up here than it is in Cornwall or in the south of England. So I don't know. You don't get days like this every day, but it's not a very long path. I think it's like 30 something miles. It's just along the Antrim coast, and there's like hostels along the way and a bunch of places to stay. There's a bus that like goes back and forth, but if I wanted to try to actually like carry the stuff that I needed and walk from place to place to place, this might be an interesting place to do that, because it is so finishable in just a few days, and would give me a little bit of a taste of that whole like carrying your pack thing. The thing is that it's not a super popular path to do in that way. People tend to do day trips, and it's, like I said, weather dependent, and the last like, I think it's like 7 miles or something, are all road walking, and I do not like road walking. There's also some long beach walks, which is not my fave either. So I don't know. I picked the section today that is like not a ton of elevation change, not a ton of beach walks, not a ton of any of that stuff that I dislike. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting the taste of the best, but interesting thing to think about. Hi, horse. You're just chilling in this field all by himself. This is some relic of something, not sure what. So this little place is Port Moon, I guess because it kind of looks like a crescent moon from above. I don't know. But apparently this used to be like a fishing place, so they were talking about like a fish house. I guess that's what that was, to like either live in or clean the fish in or whatever, process their fish, whatever. But they would like attach baskets to like the rocks here, and they would get like crabs and kelp and stuff like that. Like there's a couple of little buoys in the water down there. Maybe that's that. Maybe that's just a buoy to tell people not to drive a boat there. Not sure, but interesting. More sheepies. Maybe a different breed, because these ones have like black heads and legs. The other ones were all white. They clearly have also been recently shorn. Hi. The guy's looking at me. Hello. There's the castle thing. So my guess is that it used to be a lot bigger, or it was actually just a watchtower. But you can see it's on its own little like elevated islandy type thing. There's actually something called Dunluce Castle that's further down that is like actually much bigger and The ruins are much more extensive. It was like, I don't know that it was actually a castle either, but they would build them on these little like self-contained islands as a defense mechanism, because they're much easier to defend against. Because imagine if you're like an invading army and you're trying to come up there, and then there's people from above with that advantage and can just like throw stuff down at you. It's much easier than level playing field. So that's what they do. Okay, so apparently you can climb over there. You can see all the paths and stuff. I don't really feel the need to go up to that looking very collapsible building, so I think I'm just gonna see if I can't go around. That looks more like what I want to do. You can kind of see it better from this angle, how there would really only be one way for anybody to get on and off unless you built a bridge. Face off, me and this sheep. Who's gonna back away first? Probably him. Her, it, them. Oh wow, we got way closer than I thought we would. That was impressive. They're not afraid at all. They're so used to humans. Nope, that one isn't. In case you're wondering, this is the falls. And then it goes off the edge there. I'll try to see if I can get a picture, but Ireland, even Northern Ireland, hilarious. Like stunningly beautiful, yes. Waterfall that needs to be on a map? Doubtful. Okay, I changed my mind. This is worth it. It's super pretty. Love it if those humans would go in my picture, but you know, whatever. I'm probably in there. But this is why the water is so like brown and brackish, because I doubt these are that spectacular on a normal day, but because it's so much rain, they're just gushing. So all that goes into the sea, which turns it a little brown. This looks like it is or was an entry point for boats. It's kind of odd that everything else is like rocky and then there's like perfectly clear path. You know, it's weird. Like since I got to since I got to Ballycastle, I've just been having this weird like deja vu where I feel like I've been here before, but I haven't. Like it feels like a mixture of Scotland, Ireland, and England all together. Like it kind of reminds me of being on the Isle of Man, where it just felt like not like one of anything. Like I don't know, every time I've come here before, I've always just been like, oh, it should feel like Ireland because Ireland. But I mean, at this point, the Ulster Scots have lived here for so long. That's what they are, right? They're Irish, but they're also other things. That's created Northern Ireland. So, that's where we are. It's pretty stunning. Apparently people have made that into their own little swimming pool over there. I bet it's freezing. This is the cutest little campground. There's like maybe, I don't know, 8 spots available, maybe 10. And then you have this little harbor. That little swimming thing that I saw was like right over there. Parking lot. And then these are like showers and toilets. Nice. I mean, I wouldn't stay here because tents, but like, it's nice that this exists. So my very clear path turned into this. I've faced worse, but also in shorts. So it might be waterproof time just to get through this. Okay, it's not actually that bad. Like, I'm definitely glad I put on my waterproofs, but I've faced worse. They said the view was worth it, so I hope they're right. Well, I'm creeping my way ever closer to Rathlin. Hopefully this isn't the closest I can get to it. That looks like a waterfall. A little bit of a stream crossing, waterfall crossing. Cows, waterfall. These are like funny little cows. Those remind me of the fairy glens of Our Sky. If you know, you know. looking for? Pens? Well, this is an interesting solution to very steep hike. Just have a cave and go through it. We also have people that camped here because, like, that's clearly man-made. It's like a little barrier back there. Looked like you could put like a tent in a sleeping bag. Because this is a wind tunnel otherwise. I've heard you can only do this route when the tide isn't too high, and I think I'm okay, but I can see why. So there's the sign. Here's the part that really it has to be low tide. So I think you go down and then around, but the tide's too high for that. I'm gonna go peek around the corner, but I'm fairly confident that I'm gonna have to go around. Oh yeah, too high. So you pick your way over the rocks, and you get down, and it's sand over there and rocks, and you can walk along the beach to the other side. But that's not happening for me today. That's okay. I'm gonna go find my way up to the road and maybe hitch a ride to the other side. And by hitch a ride, just to be clear, I mean get the bus. Oh, it's the funniest thing. I was just walking by this cottage. This kid is out there and goes, "Granddad, I have to ask you a question." He goes, "What?" She goes, "What is a peacock?" It's like everything in me not to just bust out laughing. Okay, update. I saw a local doing it. Apparently there is still time. So I'm following her. I made it. I made it. Definitely feels like a half an hour later I wouldn't have been able to go that way, but it was fine. It's just hard to see from where I was standing when I was like, oh, I can't go that way. So I'm glad she came around when she did. That's cool. The water's coming like right out of the rock. Well, I'm kind of getting hungry because it's 4 o'clock. I didn't start until like 11:30 today because I was like, you know what? I had an exhausting day yesterday battling this cold thing. I'm just gonna sleep, and I did, and I woke up at like 8:45 and it was glorious. But by the time I ate, figured out what I was doing, got myself together, got on the bus, and then actually drove the bus out to where I wanted to go, it was like 11:30. So I've been walking, stopped to eat lunch, not hurrying in any way, shape, or form. My hair is ridiculous. I'm just kind of, oh, these rocks are cool. Stopping and smelling the roses, proverbially speaking. And making my way. I was trying to get to this place called Ballintoy because I almost stayed there, but then I decided not to. Something having to do with the hostel didn't get back to me, or they were booked, or they weren't open, or I don't know. But oh, here's another one where the stuff is like coming out of the rocks. That's cool. Okay, so I'm kind of feeling done, but I'm on like one side of this white park bay thing, and Ballintoy is basically on the other side of the hill, on the other side of this big sand beach. So I think I'm gonna do the beach, go closer to the water so I'm not standing in squishy sand, and like complete it, because can't be that far. I have to be under 2 miles from there. I'm not like tired, I'm just kind of getting hungry. But I really want to see it, and I just feel like I'm so close. I was thinking that I might put my feet in the water and like walk there, because that's what I usually do on beaches. But this sand's pretty compacted, and it's a cow beach, meaning cows graze on it. So their poop is in the beach. And I've shown you what the water looks like. Over here it's not actually that bad. It seems like it's a little clearer. But yeah, I don't need to have like the combination of what could be underfoot on my foot. So shoes it is. Although there's like some barefoot like runners in front of me, so you know, live the best lives. We have a cow beach. There are the cows. Found the rest of the cows. Here they are, just grazing on seaweed. Hello, cows. Just so you know, this is my least favorite thing. Walking through a herd of y'all. They're not that big. Is this a breed thing or a size thing? Or a like oldness thing? Hello. y'all. I beat the tide by the skin of my teeth. See? There's just a little bit of stepping stone for like 10 feet. And if I had been probably 15 minutes later, those would have been underwater. So I got around the corner and there's less tide concerns. You can see the tide obviously doesn't go up that far. So I'm gonna go explore over there, and then on the other side of this little headland, I think is supposed to be where I'm exiting. Getting a bus to head back to Valley Castle. Oh look, another creepy cave. This one does not have an exit point though. So much of these little hills just remind me of Western Scotland. Thank you, son. I got ice cream at that little stand. It's probably the most artificial ice cream of the trip, but it's also the cheapest. It's £1.70, I think. Taste. More like a 5.5. Look, it's ice cream. It has sugar. I'm gonna eat it, but it's like very artificial mint. If that makes any sense. I'm gonna sit on one of these lovely benches here by this parking lot and admire the view. And then I'm gonna figure out how to get a bus and go home. So I'm just sitting on this rock eating my ice cream. So I'm just sitting on my rock eating this, sitting on a rock eating this with my ice cream. And these people in their full wetsuits are going for a swim. Like, you. But that seems like a lot of work. I am happy that they're wearing rock suits and not just freezing them. Like, there's a family right that way that's like in coats and shorts and big questions. Like a lot of them. Definitely. A little frustrating. Just down the coast, we have Little Bee. That is the Treasury Road Bridge. So I did that a number of years ago. It's closed. It gets closed when it gets too busy. But yeah, the other thing, see that little archway? It's developing a real archway. So at some point it will attach. There is Rathline. We're not actually that far away from it. So many coastal walks. Walking by this field, and I think these are potatoes. I think that's what potatoes look like at the top. And then they obviously grow underground. Not sure though. Ballintoy, totally like crossed off, and that's Irish, probably for Ballintoy. It's interesting how much is still written in Irish here. That's not the case in the bigger cities. So that's the place I almost stayed at. It would have been lovely, actually. I think I was worried in part that there wasn't enough to do here and that it wasn't central enough, especially after being in a very rural area for like basically, like 8 days. But I think I would have been fine, honestly. I'm not mad about where I'm staying. It's quite lovely. I don't feel like it's too big of a city or anything like that, but it's like a Guinness Sea wild. And this is why. That's the river. And that's where it joins. And you can see it's very dark. I've heard it over and over again. The fog water's not actually dirty. But there's just something mental around like it being this color. Like, look at this. I cannot bring myself to go in it. Like, so many people are walking around in it and letting their kids play in it and stuff, so I'm sure it's fine, but wild. Also, it's kind of cool, like the waves are pushing like waves into the little river. Okay, unfortunately it's a little colder out here than I want it to be. It's a little breezy, so I think I'm gonna head in, take a shower, hang out, check to see how red my face is, because it kind of looks a little red on this camera. I kind of failed a little bit with sunscreen today. Like, I put it on a couple of times, but like not as much as I should have. I always do that when it's like cold, but sunny because I'm like, oh, it's cold. It's not. Okay. Well, I think that's gonna be it for today. We'll see if I make it onto the boat to go out to that there island tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Bye. These guys over there are like have a microphone and a loudspeaker, and they're all dressed up in suits, but most of them have coats. And they're talking about like
God has made provision that we can be in heaven.
About God and like Christianity. Basically like Protestants and Catholics aren't a thing, but God is, and we shouldn't let differences in the way we worship get in the way of things. It's kind of interesting. I wish she wasn't doing it with a microphone right outside my window though. That'd be great. They're not telling us how the Bible predicted global warming and also all natural disasters, and therefore we are in the end of days because of Revelations. Fascinating. Oh, and then this guy finished preaching and now he's walking around handing out like mini scriptures to people, and nobody seems interested. Nor are they really paying attention. So, it's Sunday. I didn't go to church today. But church came to me, apparently. I think this might be my evening.